Greetings, bloggers, vloggers, followers, and potters. Dustin here from Dustin's Dynasty with another edition of this week's vlog. It is spring. The days are getting longer. It's still daylight here at 6:30 on a Friday night, which is something we haven't been used to for some time. Normally, at this would be the time it would be getting dark for the day. It would already be dark this time last week. So we experienced daylight saving time here in Pennsylvania this week, and as such, I'm adjusting to the change. And that's basically what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about change, but a little bit about how we got to this point. Well, really, how we've gone to this point for a couple of weeks. Back on the medication regimen for about a month now. More steady so in the last 2 to 3 weeks, but really getting on track and really doing well. And I think it comes with change, as with anything comes change. And with change, you have to have awareness, desire, and behavior. And that's what today's blog is about. Having the awareness that you need to change, having the desire that you want to, and the behavior. Everything we do is a behavior. Whether the way we behave, even as autistic people, is the way that we communicate. And it's communicating that something has to be done about something. And I think so long I'm at a point of the year when the clocks change. 3 years, we are going into the fourth year of the COVID-19 pandemic, and I'm not going to loom too much on that today, but that's when it all started to crash. It crashed about a month before that, and ultimately, COVID was the breaking point. Not only that, besides having the health issues, but then having the issues with me. And I had other physical health issues at the point where I couldn't walk through a store, I couldn't do anything, and the behaviors were just out of control. I hit a breaking point. Now, while it took a couple of years for me to rebound, and it took a long time to rebound from all those challenges that I faced, the ups and downs, the understanding that, of something having to happen. You have to have that awareness that something is happening. And I think I did have, for the past 2 to 3 years, I did have a awareness that things weren't working right for me. And, eventually in March of 2021, my weight creeped to the highest it's ever been. It's not there now, but we're slowly making progress every day. But you have to have that awareness that it is happening. Same thing on the mental health side. You have to have that awareness that you're not taking care of yourself. And I think I knew before the pandemic started, but having to not be able to go to work, having to not be able to having to work, and then eventually getting the ability to work from home and have some time to really think of that over the years and see the differences from when I was taking my medicine versus when I wasn't. And, seeing all that made an awareness. Now, whether, you had the desire to do something, whether, it was the desire to change your eating habits, or, take your medicine, or do whatever it is that you needed to do, you had to have that desire. And for me, that was something I really struggled with over the years. I had desire to go out, and I was fine going out and just walking my butt off all around the community. I had no problem with that. In fact, 2 years ago, a little over 2 years ago, a little under 2 years ago, I walked a 5K. In fact, I walked two in 2021. But I don't know how I did it. It was a miracle, nothing short of a miracle. Today, looking back, I don't know how I did it. I was not even that wholly well. I was not well personally. I was having issues with creating boundaries and change for myself, and it was really hard. And I really reacted differently to my family at the time, and just everybody. Everybody was just, and I had a mood with everybody. And I don't know how I don't know how I survived those past 4 years. And it's been 4 years ever since I was starting to experience symptoms. But you're having all these behaviors, and you're not really seeing the change in things. You're not really seeing anything being done about it. You're not really seeing anything progressing with your life. I think sometimes you have a traumatic thing, a traumatic event, or a traumatic instance, a flash of trauma occur in your life, and it brings you back a bit. Takes you back a bit, and makes you feel, like you don't want to go forward. You're deflecting and you're hiding from what you want to do. And I think that was part of the problem too. I think, part of deflecting and not realizing that, I need to work on this and fight my challenges and fight my fears and fight my behaviors. And I think it's a behavior. I think everything you do is a behavior, and always behavior is the way we communicate about how we feel about something. I think a long time, it's been such a hard time to realize that, that your behavior is a communication. And I think I don't know. I think the world changed too fast, and I had issues for a month, and well, I had somewhat of a normalcy, but yet different normalcy. Then I had no normalcy, and I had no safe space, and just so many things 3 years ago that was so wrong. And then, as that eventually got better later that year, things still started to happen and started to occur and started to not be the right way. There were moments, and then so little by little things picked up. There were breaking moments that I had to learn, like the meltdown that I had almost 2 years ago. I can't even believe it's going to be it's a year and a half, over a year and a half now. And, I think sometimes seeing that, you have to learn and grow from those experiences. Everything that I've been through, I personally feel that I had to learn and grow from it. I think God puts you in a place for a reason. He connects you for people that you need to see, hear, and do. He needs you to experience if that's what you think and that's your thing. I feel that he needs to find you what you need to find, in you, your higher power, what have you. Needs to find, what makes you, find what you need to find. And I think I had to learn all that experience to learn my true self. Experimenting with the medication, seeing what worked, what didn't work, seeing the reaction of people and understanding. Think the breaking point was, I could go into crisis. I could go back to where take away a lot of the independence that I had built up over the past 2 years. It could be washed away very well again. And I wanted to get beyond the 2 year mark, because 2 years is all I did in the first one. And I knew I had to get beyond that for myself. That was a goal that I had to have for myself. And even though I was 9 months offshoot from when I left my first home to when I got my second, that was a big step for me. And now, I feel like nothing's going to stop that. There's, and then now that the dust is settled from everything, from, all the trauma and all the behaviors and all, putting the pieces of my life together to, get better and understand how to react to myself better and how to conduct myself better as an autistic person, and how to cope with things, how to, do things to make me have more sense and be sure to, get things done in a way that all helped in a way. So that desire, I would say, came when I started taking the medicine. And I won't lie to you, when I started taking the medicine, when I started to realize the weight was creeping back up, I had lost ultimately in 2021, I lost 30 pounds, in the course of like 3 months, but then I gained it all back, up and down, up and down. And I think, I was getting up near the top again, the beginning of this year. And I said, we're not going to do this anymore. This was just a couple weeks ago. And I said, I'm going to have that desire. And I think as slowly as I started to get more of the biochemistry of my medicine working again, more and more of, what had been so lost for so long. I had this desire to want to do things just as much as any neurotypical peer did. I wanted to go to the gym. I wanted to do something that was, more community based. I didn't want to sit in my house all the time. I want to do other things. I want to repair the damage that I have been done over the past 4 years. I want to be part of the community again, but I want to be a person who's well and can think and rationalize things, and be a person who can learn and grow and be who I want to be, more than a person with autism or that special person, or, that person is different. I want to be more than that. I want to, so I think to do that, you have to, understand where you're at in life and how to manage life's challenges, so you have the proper coping skills, defense mechanisms, what have you, to get through that. And I think, desire comes in different ways. But for me, I just think I realized, as far as the medicine went, I think the desire was like, you have to do it. And I think sometimes it comes subtle as, if you can't go out in the community and you can't do well in the community if you don't take your medicine. And if you have a scene in the community, crisis, the police, law enforcement, hospital, those words, while triggering, can set the tone and say, hey, this is what can happen. And I think reality struck. And I had to realize, if I wanted to have an independent life, I have to do things. And I could have said for so long it was a struggle, but it wasn't. It was a behavior. And I had to change that behavior. I had to think differently. I had to think in a different way. It took a lot. It took a lot of different thinking and a different mindset. It took a lot of different things. But you know what? I'm ready for the task at hand. And you have to change things. Same thing with the food. I had a lot of non-scale victories, as I say, the past week, and I mentioned some of them in my Wellness Wednesday video earlier this week. But in reality, understanding that in reality, you have to manage your health, both with food and mood, so to speak, and change the way you're thinking. You have to want that change. You have to know you're making what you're doing. And for years, I always knew what I was doing. I always knew how to count the food. I always knew how to be accountable. But yet I'm this size. Yet I'm this big bearish 300 some pound man. And I know I need to improve my health so I can be around for others and be here as long as I can on this planet. And it's not easy, but you have to do it. So it starts with food, and it starts with a desire and a behavior of wanting to change it. It all starts with you. Personally, it starts with everybody, with each person, and I knew that deep down inside. I've been going to a weight loss club for about 16, 17 years, but I didn't really listen, and I really didn't take the advice. And I really didn't understand I knew what I needed to do. I knew how to count calories. I knew how to do all the things I needed to do. I just didn't have the desire to. And then every time that I have to connect to other neighborhoods from my part of the community, I would pass the gym that I knew I toured 2 years ago. And I knew I wanted to go there at some point, but I just didn't know if I was ready. COVID happened. We had resurgences. There were issues. And so something called to me and said, you need to call the gym and make an appointment and set up your membership. And ironically, I saw somebody, a staff member in there cleaning, and I called them when I got home, and I made the arrangements. And approximately 2 weeks ago, I went and set that up. And for the past week and a half, almost 2 weeks now, I have been working out routinely, and I do enjoy it. It's a nice release of energy, endorphins. It really helps me get moving and grooving for the day. In combination with the trail behind me, I think it helped me moving and grooving and get moving. But it's that desire and that behavior. I could very well sit here in my home and eat all the food out of the fridge I got yesterday, but I don't. I have no desire for that. I count my food meticulously. I count my calories. I drink my water when I'm thirsty. I think it's all, all in delicate balance, and you have to have that. You have to have that awareness, desire, and behavior that you want to have. I think when we talk about it, we say that a lot of the stories I think I see that really trigger me is one of a person who drinks 7 2-liter bottles of soda a day. And I think, well, that could have been me at one point. I had been up to about 3 of them, and now I'm down to 1 at most a day. And a little bit more sometimes, but I try to incorporate more water when I can, and when I'm feeling thirsty, I try to drink more water. And I probably will have some after this video. But I think having that desire, you don't want to drink the soda, you want to drink the water. Another thing I saw was this week, everybody knows I've mentioned it on here before, is the fact that I like to watch My 600-Pound Life. Well, there was a gentleman about my age on there, and he lives a single in an apartment, although he had family nearby to help. Um, the situation was kind of eerily similar to where he was all alone and he ate himself to oblivion. He wasn't in a car in 3 years. He couldn't drive. He didn't even know if he could drive. He ate nonstop. He ate just plates after plate and big bowl after big bowl of food. And I couldn't even watch it because I knew that wasn't the life I wanted to have. And that, I couldn't live that life. And it was just too eerie for me. And I couldn't sit there and watch it because I knew if I did, it would trigger me into a behavior that I wouldn't want to have. But I did get, it's just all on what you want to do in life and all on how you do life. It's definitely something. Um, I think you all have to learn how to manage your struggles, how to get through your struggles. But I think from a long improvement, if we looked in the time span of 4 years, three really, of really how far I progressed since I was at my highest weight. And granted, I lost 20 pounds, but 20 pounds doesn't say it all. 3 years ago, I couldn't even walk through the store. 2 years ago, I only made it to the first bench down the street, maybe, and a pain to the second. 1 year ago, I skipped a couple benches and made it down to the end of the street. This year yesterday, I was able to walk the trail behind me for almost 1.6 miles, almost half the distance of a 5K, and not have to sit down, stop at a bench, or be out of breath. I was able to do very well at that. And part of that is because I was at the gym training and what have you. But I think all in all, I think it's because of a combination of all those things, getting the proper rest, sleep, medicine, food, nutritionist food, water intake, all of those things that are making it so great and so great, making my life so much better. And I think having a good food and a good mood and having good activity, everything good, having the change to have the awareness, desire, and behavior to make things swell and hopefully make things better for the years to come and do away with the past. So with that being said, I want to thank you for listening today. Be sure to give me a like if you haven't already. Tap that notification bell for more notifications. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel. Be sure to follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Pinterest at Dustin's Dynasty, and on the web at DustinsDynastyUSA.com. We'll talk at you later. Thank you for listening. Bye for now.